video, we're going to learn how to estimate the thermal insulation for the course project. This goes underneath the roof. So basically, the thermal insulation is estimated by area and also by looking at the level of resistance that insulation is going to present for the heat transfer. So we need to look what are the specifications for the insulation. Let's go ahead and look at the cross section, but we need the cross section completely. So from the plan layout, we see there is a cross section here, A511 on the men's locker room. So let's go over there, A51. We want to look at detail 1. So that is this detail over here, this wall section. If we go to the top portion of it, we see that we have inside the room there is a suspended ceiling, and then on top of that suspended ceiling we have the R30 batt insulation over all conditioned spaces. So that means that we need to add thermal insulation with a resistance value of 30 on top of any area that will have air conditioning. So let's go ahead and see how are we going to estimate the cost for this. We'll go into our cost reference and then find a cost reference for thermal protection. So here we have a file, thermal protection PDF. We can go over there and basically open this file and see what are the requirements for thermal protection. We have roof depth and insulation. These are the R values for the different type of insulators, and we see that the unit of measure is square feet. So we need basically to take the square feet of the area that we're going to have thermal protection and then multiply by the cost value for the particular insulation. Now again, in this case we have 5-inch thick R19, and then we have 6-inch thick R23. We're looking for R30. So we will have to do again interpolation process to find what would be the cost for R30 given R19 and R23. Let's go back to on-screen takeoff, and now we need to estimate this exact same area but without the slope. So one trick I could do is select the roof 1 condition that I had created before and create a duplicate. So I can right click on it and create a duplicate. So now I have another roof 1 here, and I'm just going to edit this one and say roof 1 floor area. So that will be a different from roof 1, and I'm just going to delete the slope. So now when I apply, I can measure the area of roof 1 without having the slope. So now you can see the difference. Roof 1 has a slope, 293 square feet is the area, and roof 1 floor area is the horizontal projection of roof 1, which has 288 square feet. So this is the value that I will use to estimate the thermal insulation. I will just go to takeoff, select the roof 1 floor area, copy that into my Excel file. So we'll go into OST, paste that here, and now I will go to calculations because I need to do an interpolation of the cost for the thermal insulation. We have so here we have the area for these costs. So now I will just enter here the cost for R19 cost for R23, then I will have here these values. Cost for R19 is 0.92 in materials, and the cost for R23 is 108 in materials. So we know this is 19, this is 23, so we need to find for 30 what would be the cost for R30. So, this is a straightforward interpolation like we have done before. Basically, what we will say is the slope of the line is the same. So, delta y over delta x. I'll explain that in a... To find the cost of R30, basically what we do is we say that the cost is going to follow a linear relationship. So we are going to have the cost of R19, we're going to have the cost of R23, and then we want to find the cost for R30. So we say that the slope of this line is going to be delta y over delta x. So we have the cost for 19 is 0.92. The cost for R23 is 108. So we can say delta y, which is 1.08 minus 0.92 over delta x, which is 23 minus 19, has to be equal to delta y over delta x, but now taking into consideration R23 and R30. So the delta y is going to be the cost that we don't know minus 1.08 over 30 minus 23. Continuing with our calculation, C minus 1.08 is going to be equal to 1.08 minus 0.92 divided by 23 minus 19, and all of these multiplied by 30 minus 23. So we have the cost C is going to be equal to 0.16, which is the numerator, divided by 4, which is 23 minus 19, and this multiplied by 7, which is 30 minus 23, plus 1.08. So the cost for R30 is equal to 1.36. Sorry. So this is the cost of materials for the R30. So in Excel, we can calculate, if we want, we can calculate the slope of the line by dividing delta y, which is 108 minus 0.92 divided by delta x, which is 23 minus 19. So we have the slope calculated already, and then we can calculate the cost for R30 as the slope that we calculated before multiplied by the delta x that we have here for 30 and 23. So that will be 30 minus 23, and then we will just add the value of the cost for R23, and we get 136, which is the same as we got before with our manual calculation. So this is cost of materials. And now we could do is what we could do here is we can copy these formulas and paste it below. Okay, so we paste with the formulas, so we have everything calculated already, all the formulas that we need. And then what we're going to do is, instead of using 0.92 and 108 as the cost for R19, because these are the cost of materials, we will go to our cost data and then use 0.21 for labor. But we can see 0.21 is the same for both. So for R30, the expected labor cost will be 0.21 as well. Just to verify, let's do that here. So as we enter 0.21 for labor on both, we realize that it's 0.21 and labor for R30. So that verifies the calculation is correct. So we go here back into Woods, and then we will enter. We will go back to the RSM table that we had before and then create a copy of RSM table right at the end. So we will rename this one as Division 7, Thermal Protection. Although it's moisture and thermal protection really, but that's okay. And we will enter then the roof and deck insulation. So we'll enter here roof and deck insulation. Right now I have only one room, so I will need to increase the size. The number will be 07200 07200 700, and then an interpolated 700 and then interpolated. So I'm going to make a note here, interpolate R19 and R23 to get R30. So that gives me the cost. The unit of measure is going to be square feet. The material cost, I can go and link that directly to my calculations, where I have the cost of materials for R30. I can also link the calculations for labor, and then I can just enter here the quantity of work, what I've got from on-screen takeoff in square feet. So now I have the cost for the insulation, the thermal insulation for this section of the roof. You can go ahead and continue, so you estimate the area for the entire building under the AC.